Hello, and welcome to Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am really happy you're here with me in podcast land or on YouTube. As it is the very last day of 2024. It is December 31st, and I hope that you are having lovely holidays, and I hope that you are getting ready for a wonderful 2025, again, however you define it. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about this idea of resolutions and intentions and words of the year and all that kind of stuff. And I've been really thinking about that for myself. And I've landed on something that I'm really, really excited about. And I had to laugh because this actually came from one of those like Instagram, do a screenshot when you're ready to pick your word of the year, which typically is not the word that I end up choosing. But this year I decided to go with it because it kind of makes sense with what the word is, right? So my word of the year is harmony. And the little screenshot thing from Instagram actually, had the word harmonizing. And this is what it said. Remember, and there is room for both your efforts and your rest, and you don't have to choose one or the other. As seasons change, the way things come together may change, and that's okay. There is still room to create new music anyway. And I read that and it really resonated with me, especially with the seasons of my life right now. And so I was, reflecting. I'm like, okay, harmonizing might be the vibe. And then today, as I was getting ready to record the podcast, I really started thinking about the word ease. I really love the word ease. And in meditation, we talk a lot about may you live with ease. And so I was contemplating having that be my word of the year. And then I thought, you know what? Harmony, the word harmony also has this connotation of ease. But then it also brought together some of the other intentions that I've been thinking about for myself for 2025. So, the idea of living in harmony, right? Living with ease with myself, living with ease and harmony with the universe, living in harmony with nature, living in harmony with the seasons of the season I'm currently in my life. And I really thought that sounded like a wonderful intention. I'm going to try to live with harmony with all of the things in my life, trying to live with ease. And then I started thinking about the opposite of that, which is really what I'm excited about. So, I one of my superpowers is that I am an implementer. So, the way I define that is if there is something to accomplish, I figure out how to accomplish that. I probably should have been a project manager. And so, if there's something to accomplish, I'll figure out what the plan is, what all the steps are, what the humans are, what the resources are, put it on a timeline, figure out how to make it happen. That's something I truly enjoy doing. I think it is one of my superpowers. My children's book illustrator keeps telling me that that is not the way most people are, and I should really embrace, that as one of my superpowers. And that has served me well in many aspects of my life. I've been able to accomplish, things that, perhaps would have been difficult if I didn't have this, implementer superpower. One of the ways it doesn't serve me, though, is I believe that I can implement anything. And so I have, on more than one occasion, tried to implement, even if it was probably a square peg, round hole situation, meaning it wasn't supposed to fit together. Or if you want to do square peg, round hole, I think that's what I just said, round hole, square peg. Anyway, that expression is because some things are just not meant to, connect and go together and maybe even happen. And I got to thinking that, the times that I have tried to do the square peg round hole thing, sometimes I've been able to do it. Sometimes I have not. And, I end up, metaphorically banging my head against the wall thinking, why on earth did I even start this project? Because this, the cost was too high, or the time allotted was more than it probably needed to be, or the energy. Um, and to be honest, sometimes those are not things I think about when I, start out on a project. I haven't really spent as much time as I should have going, hey, is this going to be, is this going to be worth the energy? Is this going to be worth the time? Is this going to actually be worth it in the end? An example of that is, I'm a college professor. We have a ton of bureaucracy and policies. And there's been a lot of times in my career where I'm like, I don't care what the policy is. We're going to figure this out because this is best for the students, or this is really the way it should be, or, we really need to make this happen, regardless of whether I was the only one who was on board or wanted to put energy into that, or, whether the policy actually could be changed, right? And so I'm not going to do that in 2025. I hope I did an okay job explaining that. And those of you that have this superpower, I'm sure this will resonate with you. Sometimes we launch and, maybe we shouldn't have launched. So I'm going to be living in harmony in 2025, right? Which means if my goal is to be in harmony and doing things with ease, I will not embark on things that are truly round hole square peg, and really think about, even if I could do something, maybe it's not in my best interest. You know, Sister ideas to this are not forcing things, right? Letting them unfold naturally, trusting the universe. All things, true story, have not been my superpowers. And so I thought it would be really fun to try, right? To spend a whole year, you know, um, thinking about all this in a very, very, intentional way, back to our whole intentions thing, and, living in harmony and living with ease. So super pumped about it, and I'm very excited to implement this new strategy of harmony and living with ease. And I feel that it will definitely make me a more productive human, because when we are spending our energy on things that are more aligned, either with the energy or time we want to spend, or our season, or, where we're, that whole trusting the universe thing, I think we will be more productive. So looking forward to that. I am very excited to hear if you have set some intentions, or also if you have, ran into this whole square peg round hole thing, if you are an implementer, and if maybe your belief in your superpower of implementing has, had you do stuff that probably didn't need to be done, that definitely was the hard way. My family and I used to joke that my memoir was going to be called "I Did It the Hard Way," because, there's been lots of times where I'm like, yeah, definitely did that the hard way. I did it, but just because you can doesn't mean you should, which is interestingly one of my key concepts when I teach ethics, right? Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. And thinking about that from an ethical perspective is super helpful. So a little bonus tip there for you. But I think it's also, important to think in conjunction with this idea of harmony and this idea of living with ease. So very, very excited. I wish you a safe, fabulous New Year's Eve, and even better 2025. And please tune in to next week for another episode of Handled Ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, be kind to yourself and take care, because you are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.